Good afternoon. I'm speaking to you live just outside.
I like to think balding is just God's way of saying, now let's see you get laid.
Is it true that if you don't use it, you lose it?
What I'd really like to do is put the greatness of this man in perspective.
The hairloss community has a lot to be thankful for, having you as a spokesperson.
You mean you just call this guy up?
About life and about reality.
And now, America's #1 reality radio show for men. Live from Los Angeles, it's Spencer Kobren's The Bald Truth.
Well, welcome, Joseph. How are you? It's nice to see
good,
you.
Spencer. How are you?
I'm okay.
Good to see
I just want to let our fans and our listeners and our viewers know that this week is my fault. Every week it's somebody's fault. We're probably never going to be on time. If you like the show, you just have to deal with it. I mean, what can I tell you? We're old men here.
When we get sponsors, we'll be on time.
Yeah. Why are we going to get sponsors? How can we get sponsors? I had sponsors for many, many years, and it was great, but it was different. It was on the radio.
The point. We'll never be on time because we'll never have sponsors.
Yeah. But now, especially online, it's just so dangerous, man.
Ooh, good one. Good segue.
That's what I do. I've been doing this for a living for a long time. Guys, the phone number is 888-659-3727. I'll probably have to center my camera. It's a little off today. And yes, I know the shirt blends into the background. I didn't want to change. I wasn't in the mood to change, Joseph.
You wear that normally?
Yes, I do.
I thought you put that on for the show.
Apparently the chicks dig it. Guys, we're live.
The farmer look.
The phone number is 888-659-3727. It's the Hair Loss Show. This is what we do. I've been doing this broadcast in some iteration, some way, some form. Either on radio, satellite radio, live streaming on some service, and now through Joe Tillman's hair transplant channel on YouTube, which is hairtransplant.com/hair transplant mentor.
You mean youtube.com?
What did I say?
You said hairtransplant.com.
Whatever.
/hair
I can't even say the same thing. But because it's not. It's youtube.com/hair transplant mentor. That's the hair transplant channel. Now, we've been doing this for a very long time. And you're probably thinking to yourself, how do you do this for so long? It's kind of like a hobby, to be honest with you at this point. I enjoy doing it. I enjoy speaking to you guys. I enjoy being free to tell the truth. Now, when you are not tied to industry, which, believe it or not, Joseph and I are not, no matter what some idiots may say somewhere on the interwebs, we could say whatever the fuck we want. We can tell the truth. We can tell the truth about hair transplant surgery. We can tell the truth about products and services. We can tell the truth. And it's not just not being tied to industry. It's being in a position in your life, which I was lucky enough to find a way to get into that position pretty early in my life, where you could afford to tell the truth. That is the key. Most people can't afford to tell the truth. What you see from physicians online, from these TikTok docs, is mostly bullshit. When you see hair transplant surgeons pointing at shit on TikTok or whatever, they're trying to get you in the chair to sell you a hair transplant so they can pay for their kids' tuition. They're not getting behind the mic on some, bullshit podcast. Not this one. On some bullshit podcast to talk about hair loss and to really provide you guys with insights without an ulterior motive. They're not connected to websites that have online consultations unless they want to get leads. That is what it's all about.
Yeah.
Anyone who's associated with us, anyone who is an accepted member of the IAHRS has to deal with me, Big Mouth Spence, telling you guys the truth. Surgery is a last resort. Not everyone's going to do well with surgery. There's not a single doctor that I know, even those who are accepted into the IHRS, who doesn't have a few patients who believe they've been fucked up by these doctors. That's just the nature of cosmetic surgery. I'm not here to sell you surgery. I'm not here to sell you products. And if they are still willing to be a part of what we do, to pay their membership dues like any other organization, but to be connected to an association and society that tells the truth, holy mother of God, that alone separates these guys from everybody else. When I used to get calls, especially at the beginning of my career, and I said this before, and I'm going to repeat this story because it sticks in my mind. Somebody called me, and they're like, what are you guys doing over there at the IAHRS? We just had a patient who canceled, and it was a woman. I'm like, first of all, you know how I feel about women having hair transplant surgery. Secondly, you know what it states clearly on the American Hair Loss Association site and through all of our literature. And thirdly, if you're performing a lot of hair transplants on women, I don't want you to be a part of what we do. He apologized.
That's the way it usually goes.
So that's what we do here. So no matter what you think, you're just, who are these guys? Like, I get this shit on Instagram now. Now that my Instagram is starting to grow a little bit, they're like, well, like, what do you know? You know what? I know a lot. I know the truth. You want the truth? Mm-hmm. You come to us, you get the truth. You want to be bullshitted? There's hundreds, if not thousands, of resources online now, influencers, that will bullshit you. They'll sell you a transplant. They'll sell you some bullshit concoction. Mm-hmm. They'll guide you to a doctor who's making their own preparation in some, dank compounding pharmacy in New Jersey. That's what this industry is.
Now, why New Jersey? Why are you picking on Jersey?
Well, there's actually a compounding pharmacy in New Jersey that works with, or maybe in Pennsylvania actually, that works with one of these big companies that had actually refused to provide us, the American Hair Loss Association, with some of the transparent details of their product, even though they wanted us to endorse them. So we did a little research to find out where the compounders were and what the situation was, and it was like, let's just put it this way. Some people are buying their subscription-based products online that are being compounded in strip malls.
Yeah.
And that's just the reality. They're getting their finasteride from maybe China, or maybe some compounding pharmacy in India where there's no running water in like the nearest hotel. And that's not an exaggeration. So anyway, I can go on forever. We're here to provide you guys with the truth. You can't handle the truth, find somebody else on YouTube. They will bullshit you. They'll talk. They will tell you. They'll walk you through their derma rolling technique and regimen, and they'll tell you about all the oils and all the shit that they're using that regrew their hair. And we'll see you back here in 3 years. Phone number is 888-659-3727. Joe, you saw the Instagram post. I think that's why you decided to title the show today, whatever you titled it, which I can't remember. So the floor is yours.
Hair loss advertising is a scam. And I don't remember I actually don't remember the exact post that you made.
I'm going to fix my camera.
It was something about some guy saying that everything out there was a scam, and refresh my memory. Like, I'll have to look it up.
I'm going to let you struggle with this.
Well, there's no struggling. I'm just trying to figure out what the hell you put up here. Where's your Oh, something. What was it? I'm trying to remember what it was. Look up Spencer. See, that's how fast I operate. I'm just like too fast with this stuff. I got the idea and I did it. Yeah, you can't see it anymore because your story's already gone. Anyway, it was compelling and it made me think that's a great topic.
First of all, old timer, it wasn't a story. It's a reel and still there. Secondly, essentially what I decided to do is, provide people with what I thought were the most outrageous and interesting hair loss ads on social media this year of 2023. And this one essentially starts with the devil of, big pharma. What big pharma doesn't want you to know in the hair loss industry about hair loss drugs. And what's interesting about that and ironic about it, it's really, in this case, big pharma is the only are the only ones that have legitimate interventions. I mean, yes, you can get. There's really good nutritional supplementation. I happen to believe in DHT lowering properties of some herbs. You know that I do. I wrote about it in the original Bald Truth. Those are available. But in general, you want to see a doctor and you want to get on medication that actually works. No one's hiding anything from you. I'm a fan of peptides. Where are these peptides coming from that are being promoted for hair loss online? What are they doing exactly? Are they peptides that actually increase hair growth? And do these peptides actually change your genetic makeup so that you no longer have to take this treatment on an ongoing basis and your hair loss just reverses? Because that's the claim in this particular ad.
Yeah.
And I think most importantly, are people stupid enough to buy this kind of shit? They are, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's how the almost $5 billion a year hair loss industry is run. It's not the pharmaceutical companies that have the lion's share. They're the smallest proportion, the smallest share of this industry. It's all the bullshit that takes up the rest of the industry.
As we are speaking, or as you're speaking, I am pasting the link.
I come over solid today, yeah. Sorry.
In the description, so now people in chat room or people watching or watching the rerun of this, you can go down into the description and click on the reel, the link, to see the reel that Spencer has on his Insta. And while you're there, don't forget to follow Spencer if you aren't already. But to see what he's talking about, it's pretty interesting actually what this guy's saying. So you go ahead and check that out. And while you're doing that, click the like button for this video.
Well, what you're going to find online also is you're going to find there's a lot of ads now on Facebook, on Instagram. There are some ads that are making claims. And essentially what they're doing is they are combining, say, I don't know, the doctors. And there's a doctor on a doctor talking about PRP. And then they kind of cut it into another video where it seems like this doctor may be talking about their particular product, their breakthrough product, when in fact they're talking about just PRP on like the doctor show, And
yeah,
it's just amazing how blatant it is. And I have to laugh. I got to give these guys credit. They're just like, fuck it. I don't care. Truth in advertising, what do I give a shit? Who's going to come after us? You think the Federal Trade Commission is going to bug us? This is hair loss. No one gives a shit. And you know what? They're right. Yes, in the late 80s, the FTC came down on some of the bigger companies that were advertising on television. But since then, there's been no teeth. I mean, I did work with the National Advertising Division of the Better Business Bureau in the early 2000s, and we were able to expose a product called Avicor, which was being promoted really heavily on television and on radio and on the internet back in the day. And that was a big win, I guess. But it really didn't do shit. They went away for a while. They came back. And, same happy horse shit. That's just the way it is. So, yeah, there's millions of balding men walking around because there's a cure out there.
Exactly.
There's there's millions of guys flying to Turkey now to have a cheap hair transplant because you could rub oil on your head and you can grow your hair back.
It's just that easy.
Yeah. People are willing to go to parts of the world where they have to have shots before they fly there. To have surgery with people in sandals. Because the cure's out there. And you can find it on Facebook. 888-659-3727 is the toll-free number. Joseph, we're going to take a phone call.
Let's do it.
Hey, you're on the air. Who's this and where are you calling from?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Chuck.
Chuck.
From L.A.
Chuck from L.A. How are you, man?
What's up, man?
Good. I called in a couple shows ago, and I was talking about a minoxidil shed. And so just so you're, I guess, up to speed with my current situation, I'm 29. I've been taking oral finasteride for almost 6 years, every other day, 1 milligram. Really good results with that. Super stable. Never had any side effects, anything. All been good. And then about a year and a half ago, I introduced topical minoxidil. And
now, again, what made you introduce it after being on? You said you were on finasteride for 3 years.
I've been on finasteride for almost 6 years.
6 years, okay. So after 5 years, you decided to introduce minoxidil.
Yeah. It once I sort of saw the extent of its benefits, I thought, well, let me see what a growth stimulant can do for me.
Yeah, let me get a little hair greed. I get it. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I got, I'd say in the first 6 months, I when I called last, we were talking about like introducing minoxidil at specific times in a hair cycle and how that may have, like I may have introduced it at like the perfect time and then went into the telogen phase and like the shed I'm currently experiencing and whatnot.
Right. It kind of created a synchronized shed.
Yeah. And I just put a link in the chat of my before and after of the minoxidil if you want to take a look at that. But I
got to look at the chat. First I got to take the call.
Sorry.
The chat won't work.
Just for reference, I don't know if it's too much work to copy and paste it into a browser or whatever. But so I've been sticking with the topical minoxidil, and it's sort of gotten a little better. It's still kind of like not quite what it was 6 months ago or so. It's kind of like thinned in like different parts, like not the very front, like slightly behind the very front of like the new growth from the minoxidil. But I've been like curious about oral minoxidil. I don't know if it like makes sense for such a small area. If topical is like a more like pinpoint direct, because there's no hair loss anywhere else on my head, and I'm like curious if that is like a equally as viable option. If it's not like all over, like diffuse thinning throughout the whole scalp and whatnot.
Well, that's a good question, but here's the thing. You've been through a year of topical minoxidil, going through an effluvium, just starting to kind of catch up now, right? You're getting almost back to baseline, right? Would you say? You're starting to notice better growth? It's not shedding as much?
Yeah, I mean, the shedding is never, like, I've never gotten through a phase where the shedding, like, caught my attention.
Okay, that's good.
But, yeah, just visibly, there's a few spots that I can kind of see through a little bit more.
Well, here's the thing. Even though you'll be taking the same drug orally, it is possible that once you stop the drug topically, for whatever reason, even though this may not make sense, it could induce another shed. And it may make sense to some degree because you're also putting more drug into your body.
Right.
So, you know, we're both not doctors, and Joe could speak to this because he has a lot of experience in clinic. But, you know, if it were, I'm a fan of pills. It's easy compliance. It works all over the scalp, and you don't have to worry about, you know, putting this crap on your head. But you've already been doing it for a year. So my thing is, if you look good and it's not that much of a pain in the ass, you may want to stick with it until it starts to fail, if it does, before you put oral minoxidil into your body and you start to potentially experience adverse systemic side effects.
Mm-hmm.
Joe, what are your thoughts?
No, that makes sense. Like, why change anything if it's not really an issue as it is? Like, there's no reason to change with anything with regard to hair loss. If something seems like it's working, don't change it. There's never any reason to. And that is if I understood everything correctly, because I was looking for your link that you said you put in the chat room. I've been looking for it. I can't see it. Did you actually put it in the chat room yet?
Yes. Yeah. It's
I don't know why it's not showing up.
No, it's not a hyperlink that you can click on, but it is definitely a link. I'm seeing it right here.
What's your handle in the chat room?
It's Mousetrap. It should be
Mousetrap.
Yeah,
that's sus, man.
It's the third. It's the third comment up, I think. At least on my screen it is. But
I'm not seeing it.
I didn't even see Mousetrap in the room.
I don't even see in the room. Are you in the right? Are you pasting to the right show? You're not even a participant in the. Are you subscribed to my channel?
Oh yeah.
Huh.
You must have silenced Mousetrap. He can only see himself.
I guess so.
Here, I'm gonna send it one more time, and let's just see if this.
Yeah.
That's very odd that it's not coming up.
Someone in the chat room says,
I
"I think that the bots delete links."
Oh.
Well, just post test to see if you're actually in the room, Mousetrap.
Just type in test, just to see if we can see you at all.
There we go.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. See, it's not showing up except for that.
Okay.
So do me a favor. Do me a favor. Go to my Instagram and DM the link to me there, and I'll copy it and I'll paste it in the chat because my links will show up.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
But
so continue.
Yeah. So where was I? Yes, I guess it's just I keep getting thrown off every time my hair is not looking like I'm chasing that first initial growth spurt that the minoxidil gave me that wasn't too long ago that looked pretty damn near perfect. I was like, there it is, I fixed it. And then I guess over the 6 months it's just I just need to stick that out and not
I would
touch anything else.
if I were you,
Yeah.
and you may see that come back. There's a good chance, or there's a chance since you saw the spurt and then it shed. Yeah, man. I mean, you want to put as little in your body as possible. How old are you now?
29.
Okay, you want to keep all these tools, in your arsenal. So as things progress, and they will. You may hold off for another 10 years just on finasteride and topical minoxidil, maybe. We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But then if things start to slip, you can be like, you know what? I got this. I have this oral minoxidil thing. Let me give this a shot.
Yeah, I've always sort of mimicked that mentality of having as many, backups basically as possible. And, I think do you think is there really any point in upping my finasteride dosage to daily? Is that even worth doing at this point since I've it's
If
totally
you think that you're stabilized and you can get away with living your life with the amount of hair that you have, and it doesn't have to be perfect. If the world thinks you have a full head of hair, which they probably do, and you're able to walk out of the house feeling comfortable, then you win. You're 29 years old. You know how many bald guys at 29 are walking around miserable? Some are happy, I guess. I'm sure. You're lucky.
Yeah.
You know, and with every year that passes, you're even luckier. And you can turn around and you can think, wow, you know, on your 39th birthday, you could think of Spence and say, you know what, he was right. I had a lucky decade.
That's true.
Don't push it, man. I'm telling you, I say that with love. Do not push it, because everybody that pushes it, almost, it's inevitable. They fuck themselves up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's common.
You know? I mean, you almost did. Good. Luckily, things are okay. They're stabilized now.
Yeah. I guess I can, you know, see it through to another 6 months with the topical and see where the hair cycle's at, and if I'm seeing a visible change. But
That's the way to do it.
One other thing that in your Spencer, in your last week's video, you were discussing your opinions on microneedling and how it's like a good thing to get the hair like started, but long term doesn't really make sense. It's not sustainable for like the skin, for the collagen and everything.
Right. It's definitely not sustainable. Actually, it's damaging. And, you know, I got a lot of hate for that.
Mm-hmm.
But I love the hate. Go ahead.
Do you think it would benefit in any contributing way to do it for like 6 months to see what sort of extra hair it can grow, and then stop it, and then you've got the hair out sprouted through the skin, then use topical whatever minoxidil to like.
Yeah, but the thing is, you could also put yourself into a shed in that area and surrounding areas. You can damage the surrounding hair follicles, even if it's just temporarily. If you are able to, what's going on exactly? I mean, if you comb your hair right now and style it, how visible is the hair loss?
Not very.
All right, you win.
Then stop worrying about it. You're done.
I have a keratosis growing on the back of my bald spot that I will not remove. I had to check like 7 times to make sure it wasn't cancer. I will not remove because there's still hair growing in it. Do not screw with it if you don't have to. If you're doing well and it's not really noticeable, you cannot. Once you start to lose your hair, you cannot wish for perfection. Perfection to me is being able to, at this stage, and luckily, you know, I was able to do a pretty good job of holding things off for a long time. Just being able to slow the process down, it's amazing. We're living in an incredible time. It's the best time.
I got 2 questions for you, Chuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How remind me, how long you've been taking minoxidil?
A little, like about 1.5 years, I've been using topical minoxidil.
Okay, and finasteride?
Finasteride, almost 6 years.
Okay, so second question. That was 2, but the second question is, how would you feel if your hair started to look like it was thinning compared to now? Like, where would that put you in your mind?
Sorry, can you, like, what would that do to me mentally if it visibly looked thinning right now?
Yes.
Can you rephrase the question, please? Just kidding.
Yes, exactly.
It would put me in a bad headspace.
Okay, so I'm going to break this down for you. All right, so you are in a position now where it doesn't really look like you have hair loss. Anything that you do, anything that you change, anything that you add, anything that you subtract to your current hair loss regimen can potentially put you in that place. Full stop. If you increase the dosage, if you decrease the dosage, if you add something, if you take the same thing that's topical but then take it oral, or vice versa, any one of those things can put you in that space. So if you don't want to be in that space, don't fuck with anything. You're done. Stay the course unless you start to see things changing, and then give us a call back and we can talk about it. But you've been doing this for a year and a half on minoxidil, 6 years on finasteride. You're in a good place. Don't risk it. Anything that you do, change, add, or subtract, can change that for you. Okay? Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, that was beautifully put.
Very eloquent.
There you go.
Yeah,
Straight and to the point, my friend.
I appreciate.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like there's no two ways around it. So I understand the questions. I go through them sometimes myself. Should I do this? Should I do that? But it's like, no, you got a good thing going on. Don't mess with it.
Yeah.
All right,
brother. Good luck.
Stuff.
Congratulations on your basically full head of hair, and enjoy it.
And Happy New
I
Year.
appreciate it.
Happy New Year, brother.
Thank you. Insight. I appreciate it, guys.
So,
All right.
I'll let you go. I have a question for you, Joe. So I got a guy called that wrote, and it's on that ad that I put out there, and this is how Instagram is. It's just unbelievable to me. So the guy's like, "So do peptides work or no?" Like, now my first response is sweet Jesus with the hand over my face, but I don't want to offend anybody.
Yeah.
So do I take the time to explain? Well, yeah. I mean, I believe that peptides, which are essentially short chain amino acids, right? They work for a lot of things. But what peptide works for what? I mean, what's that name? Wegovy, and what are those diabetes drugs? Why can't I think of the name? Those are peptides. And there's a lot of peptides that are being sold and being injected into people's joints and stuff that can help with joint recovery and, different aspects of living.
Yeah.
But you have no idea where these peptides are coming from, what peptides are being used. Do topical peptides work? Where are these topical peptides in this product that's being sold on Instagram? Where are they coming from? Are there actual peptides in this bottle? Or are you just putting alcohol in your head? No one even knows what peptides are. So even to ask that question is unbelievable to me. It's almost like it just becomes part of the vernacular. People read these things, peptides, stem cells, and they put it all into one box. Like they're all the same thing. What? Electrolytes.
It's got electrolytes.
Yeah.
What the hell's electrolyte?
And then instead of just like looking at the commercial, looking at why I posted that as basically an outrageous ad, and then asking the question, do peptides work, yes or no? In a dickish way, by the way.
Well,
it's astounding. Now, my testosterone-driven response is like sweet Jesus with the hand over my face emoji.
Yes.
But I choose not to do that. This is the nature of what we're dealing with in this world. It's just I can't even, listen, I'm not a genius. I'm not a genius, people. I'm no genius. I could say that. Maybe I'm close. But I understand how desperate people are. But for crying out loud, how do people fall for this shit to the level that they do? Even when it's being pointed out to them. That it's, at least in this particular scenario, at least there's a possibility this could be bullshit. That's being pointed out to them. Like when I did the reel about derma rolling, very similar question. Does it work or not?
Yeah. Yeah.
How about you go fuck yourself? I mean, why do you think I'm taking the time to do this? I'm trying to teach you people what I think is pretty obvious. Like, how do people really believe that something that's being promoted on the internet, making claims that you can put it on your head, it'll not only regrow your hair, but you could use it only for a short period of time, and it changes your genetics. It's essentially gene therapy in a bottle, delivered from New Jersey or wherever. I love New Jersey. I don't know why that's in my head.
I'm just related to what you're saying. Someone in the chat says JJ Higgs. No, not JJ Higgs. Who was it? Ali Vegeta. Do you guys know about Brian Johnson? He's like the most tested guy on the planet or something. He has his own hair loss protocol stack. Let me tell you something about Brian Smith. Yeah, I know who he is. He's this millionaire, billionaire who, I don't know what letter is in the front of the illionaire.
The guy with the translucent skin?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. There's something going on with his hair, and it's not from a protocol. One thing it's from is called fibers. I've definitely seen him in some, like he's been in the news quite a bit, not quite a bit, but more so than normal recently. And I remember seeing his hair was looking fuller than I had seen previously, and then I caught a glimpse close up. And I was like, he's got Dermatch or something in his hairline. So I can't say whether his stack is effective or not.
It could have been a new dye job because the guy dyes his hair.
He does dye his hair.
He hasn't figured out how to reverse the gray yet.
No.
I can tell you that.
No.
Because
it doesn't look good. Like it's not a good it doesn't.
No reason to be nasty, Joseph.
No, I'm just saying it's not an effective approach if you want to be this guy that's known for hacking yourself into youthfulness.
Well, here's the problem. As we age, no matter how much of a hack he's doing, you lose about 10% of your melanin after the age of 30 per decade.
Yeah.
So if you're going to dye your hair, you need to dye it lighter. Now, he's probably, in my view, there's a chance that since he's constantly trying to regenerate the collagen in his skin using different modalities, some of which he has in his home, most of which, whether it's lasers, IPL, all that stuff. What he's not being told is that all of that, increasing collagen turnover or production of collagen, increasing cellular turnover, the top layers of the skin, constantly exfoliating your skin, you're aging your skin. Yeah. So as he continues to do that, he will become more white and more translucent. Now, he may be correcting some of the skin damage, the sun damage. So when he goes in one of those sun damage machines where you could see all the sun damage, he may be seeing less of the dots and the marks and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Part of that is he has less skin. There's less width or fullness to the skin. The skin is becoming thinner. So as you're moving the top layers of the skin, at least from what I'm seeing, I could be wrong, and in time, there will be significant collagen breakdown, unless he's somehow taking something internally that is stopping that process. I'm glad he's doing the experiments and not me. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, for sure. And it doesn't mean that some of it's not working. Like, he does look good for 45 or 46, whatever his age is. But
I thought he was in his 60s or something. He's 45 or 46?
He's not going to be able to reverse anything about his hair. At least
I didn't
not
realize
yet.
he was that
And
young. Actually, I thought he was a lot.
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
I'm not saying he looks older. I just thought he was older because.
No.
Oh, I'm not judging, but he looks like a man in his 40s, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. A man in his 40s with good genetics as far as his muscle tone and things. Like, I mean, but there are a lot of guys that are older than him that look better than him. So
you're looking at two.
Nothing. You're looking at two guys right here. Right, yeah. But one thing I do remember from, and it was mentioned that he does PRP and he does, looking in the chat room, says, dutasteride, mesotherapy, things like that. I remember something about him being, Jared Leto. He's older and looks far better than Brian Smith does. He looks like he's 25. That's Jared Leto?
Yeah.
Oh man, look him up. He's amazing. But
sounds like you got a little boy crush.
Hey, he's one of my boy crushes. I like Jared Leto. He's a cool dude. But PRP, I think he was talking about doing PRP like once a month or something extremely unnecessary. PRP doesn't. There's no benefit to doing PRP once a month. If I'm remembering it correctly, I might not have heard that correctly, but I just remember that some of the things that he was doing, I remember hearing that just doesn't seem necessary or it's overkill, and it seemed pretty generic.
So what is his protocol? What is he spending a year on all of it?
Apparently $2 million a year goes towards youth-enhancing treatments. That's a lot.
If I felt that it worked, really worked, $2 million though, man, that's a lot of money. That really cuts into things. I'd do half if I felt that it really worked. Now, as far as the hair stuff, though, how much do you think he's spending?
Not much. Well, I take that back. It depends on who he's going to, because I'm sure there are a lot of people out there taking advantage of the opportunity. So his PRPs are probably costing a few $1,000.
Yeah, but honestly, what could he be spending $2 million a year on? If he has his own equipment and he basically has that, and even if he hires somebody,
well, he's got a team of people. All of his food is prepared a certain way. It's tightly scheduled. He's got personal trainers. He's got multiple doctors in different disciplines. You know, he's always having blood tests run. He's always, he's paying people to do the research for him as well. He's got a small army of quote unquote professionals helping him to push forward in his quest for youth. And is he overpaying? Probably. You know, he found some people that he wanted to bring on board, and they're probably like, oh, I can milk this for all it's worth until the gravy train gets off the, who knows?
Well, there's no way he's a member of the tribe because we would not pay retail. Let's put it that way. That wouldn't happen.
He's not a member of the tribe. I like that. Yeah, good point.
I'd figure out a way. All these guys would be like, yeah, we'll promote you, whatever. I'd buy the equipment. Maybe an outlay of cash of about, $200,000. Find somebody to run it for me, do all the treatments.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I did see him on some interview or some podcast, and to me, he just looked like a regular guy, kind of an older guy with dyed hair, which is nothing wrong with that, but it was a little Wayne Newton-ish, and super, like almost translucent skin.
Yeah.
Which I think could be a result of whatever treatments he's topical, like laser type of treatments that he may be having. IPL, shit like that. Or whatever, look. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go out like an old man. That's it. I'll do my best. And honestly, who wants to live forever anyway? All your friends are going to die.
You just move to a different country and get new friends.
It's a real pain in the ass.
Yeah, friends are overrated.
I got to tell you, you have a couple of friends in life, that's all you need. 888-659-3727. Guys, it's a call-in show. We're not going to just sit here and I'm not just going to sit here and talk to distracted Joe Tillman for the rest of the night. We're going to take calls. So give us a call if you have any questions about your hair loss. Otherwise, we're going to go. And again, I don't want to diss this guy. I have no idea who this guy really is. I've seen him on some podcasts. I've heard of him, and I know that he does this. I've seen the press to some degree. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that he's in a position to do anything more for his hair loss than anybody else that has, like a couple of bucks.
Right.
Like you don't have to be a billionaire to do whatever he's doing for his hair loss. That's all I'm saying.
Nothing seems special about what he's doing. But again, we don't know what he's doing for, other aspects of wellness.
Is he doing like coffee enemas and stuff like that? Is he one of those dudes? Coffee and biohacking guys?
Probably. Like he's definitely into this hardcore. Like it's his main quest. It's probably why he's in. It's probably why he's amassed this fortune, so that he can turn around and invest it into himself, so he can live forever. I don't know.
Well, God bless
I find
him.
people like that interesting, though. I find it interesting because it's like, number one, what's driving this quest to be as youthful as like we all do it to a different degree, but people like him. That's the nth degree. Like, and of course, obviously, that's why he's gained some headlines. Man spends $2 million a year to look like an 18-year-old.
He's in good shape, though. I if I recall correctly, he's thin and he's pretty muscular and he's like really lean. So he definitely takes really good care of his body, and he trains. And I'm sure his diet is pristine.
Yeah.
But it almost, and again, I'm not judging. This is the way he wants to live his life, and he probably gets a tremendous amount of joy out of it. But it almost takes, in my view, some of the joy out of life. Like, I like going out and getting fucked up every once in a while. I like ordering a large pizza with anchovies. He can't do that.
Does any of that? He can't do that. I want pizza. You think I'm giving up pizza? No.
I like maybe taking a risk and possibly getting, throat gonorrhea. I like to live a little bit.
Yeah.
Guys, look, we have no phone call, so I'm going to go. I want to thank everybody.
That's fine.
But you got 62 people in the room. That means at least people on Joe's channel are watching. There's people listening. We have an empty board. No one's calling in. Now, if you don't want the show anymore, you let me know, because this is what I'll do. I won't turn on this microphone and camera on Fridays. I'll just record shit, put it out there, talk about whatever I want, not even answer anybody's questions. So I want to thank everybody for taking the time to tune in today. And I want to thank everybody who didn't call, because you ruined the show, motherfuckers. You ruined the show.
They did.
Set this whole thing up.
We're not getting paid to do this, people. We're here for you.
All right. All right, Joe. There's no lights. I'm going to go. Until next time.
Wait, are the phones working?
The phones are working.
Are they still working? Just double check.
Jesus Christ.
Here, I got it. 1-888-659-3727. Because we have that problem. It's ringing.
Yeah. Hello?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, there you are. Okay. Well, we can blame it on the listeners.
Yeah.
for
All
not
right, guys,
calling in.
listen.
Sorry.
It was fun. Until next time. You ready to go, Joe, or do you want to wait?
Let's
I'm
do
ready.
it.
I'm ready
No,
to go.
let's get out of here.
All right. Until
That's
next
up to
time,
you.
be strong. God bless. And thank you so much for listening. And screw all of you for